You're watching Coping with COVID-19 with Chris Manners. Today's special guest is Claudia Gorham.
Hi, I'm Chris Manners and you're watching Coping with COVID-19. Today my guest is Claudia Gorham. She's the Deputy Managing Director of the Real Estate Division at the City and County of San Francisco, and she's been working hard to make sure we're prepared for this pandemic. Claudia, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Now, I know that the Real Estate Division is responsible for the sales, purchase and leasing of city government buildings, and also provides both building management and custodial service for city buildings. But how has your division been helping the City and County of San Francisco prepare for this pandemic?
Well, in many ways. While the mayor and governor's orders required everyone to shelter in place, and most businesses are closed, and our buildings are closed to the general public, a substantial amount of city staff and city departments are still open and still operating and still doing city business. So we still have to do the cleaning, the engineering, and the repairs on both our portfolio and for the other departments' buildings that we service. And then in addition, all city workers are disaster service workers. And so we have been supplying the Emergency Operations Center with various staffing needs, such as laborers or drivers of trucks or clerical and accounting staff to assist them in this crisis.
Have you obtained additional space for the city to use during this crisis?
Yes. The crisis has actually required numerous transactions, and so we help basically the Department of Public Health, the Department of Human Services, and the Department of Homelessness determine where they can put the services that they need. So, for example, if they need a testing site, or if they need a vacant building to put supplies, or if they need a place to put some trucks, we will help them locate that office building or that property based on their factors that they need. We will then contact the landlord or the property owner of the space or building that they've decided they want. And then we negotiate the terms of whatever agreement they need. If it's a permit or a lease, we'll negotiate that, and then along with the city attorney, draft that agreement.
Nice. So can you talk about how some of our iconic buildings, such as the Palace of Fine Arts, have been repurposed to help out during the pandemic?
Certainly. As you may know, the city needs as much space as it can possibly use during this crisis. And in fact, the Emergency Operations Center that would have been located at the Department of Emergency Management on Turk Street actually had to relocate to MOSCONE Center South Convention Center so that we could do social distancing as required by both the city and the state. We have hundreds and hundreds of staff people working on this COVID-19 crisis, all of the Department of Public Health and the Departments of Homelessness and Human Services, including several other hundreds of people. They need several different types of sites. They need testing sites, they need shelters, they need hotel rooms for the homeless, those with the COVID-19 virus, those that just need a place to go stay after they come out of the hospital. So we've been assisting these departments with finding space. And you mentioned the Palace of Fine Arts. It has over 100,000 square feet of basically vacant space that can be used. It was going to be a shelter. Now we're thinking of using it for another purpose, but it could be used for several different things. And so we worked with Rec Park and the actual tenant, there's a tenant in the building, to actually negotiate another lease so that the city could use it for this crisis. We're using the Bill Graham Civic Auditorium for the emergency services and deployment of ambulances. Their staff grew and needed additional space and needed space for all of its supplies. And so we're using that location for that service.
That's great. So finally, I understand that you also have a staff of custodians, electricians, carpenters, plumbers, and other critical support workers. And I hear they've been central to our efforts. How have they been helping our city?
The city administrator's office, the director of property, and myself could not be more grateful and thankful for our custodians and engineering staff under the real estate division. They have been working 24/7 since this crisis began, not only doing their daily responsibilities to keep the public buildings open and operating for the city staff workers continuing to go into the office, but also because once the crisis started, several memos were came down as to additional cleanings and how to do infecting, and we have to follow the CDC's recommendations. So not only do they do their regular cleaning, but our custodians are out there doing additional cleaning and disinfecting in most of the common areas and common spaces in our public buildings, like City Hall, the Hall of Justice, and the Public Safety Building. But they're also going in and doing a deep clean and deep disinfecting after we have a suspected or confirmed person that had the COVID-19 virus. And so they're really putting themselves out there. They're at risk, and they do this every day and every night since this started. Our engineers, of course, are helping, as are our laborers, to make the buildings continue to be safe and secure and maintained. And then however we help, or however we can help the EOC, we try to do that.
Well, thanks for coming on the show, Claudia. I'd like to thank you and your entire team on behalf of the residents of San Francisco for all the hard work you're continuing to do. And I really appreciate the time you've given us today. Thanks again.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
And that's it for this episode. We'll be back with more pandemic-related information shortly. This has been Coping with COVID-19. For SFGovTV, I'm Chris Manners. Thanks for watching.